What's going on, everyone? So this morning, Danny Schaefer, the lead game designer of Star Wars Unlimited, took to the streets and answered a bunch of questions from the community. It was a pretty cool article and a pretty cool time. If you all want to check out this article, I'll leave a link to it down below. But he also, in this article, spoke a lot about specific 4 cards that were not released before, and one in particular is his absolute favorite. So a lot of cool stuff to talk about today, and honestly, the cards spoiled here are some of the most powerful controlling slash mid-rangey cards that I've seen. We've seen a lot of focus on more aggressive style cards or more aggro style cards, or like a bounty theme. This definitely focuses more on getting to the mid game, getting to the late game, and benefiting those control decks or the mid-rangey decks looking to get to that point in the game, as mid-range has struggled quite a bit, and I think some of these cards are really powerful for that. Specifically, let's start off with Danny's favorite card in Rose Tico. Rose Tico is a 4-resource ground unit, vigilance, heroism, 2/6, just the resistance tag here, shielded, and on attack, you may defeat a shield token on a friendly unit. If you do, give 2 experience tokens to that unit. So we can talk about the base case, right? It's a 4-resource, 2/6 shielded. Pretty solid stats, right? If you look at it, it's just really, really nice to be able to pick off some of the lower, HP units on the opponent's side of the battlefield. You can just attack, you keep your 2/6 body, you remove a shield. Okay, that's fine. But if you look at its base case and then add on the on attack trigger, you could attack with Rose Tico, defeat the shield on Rose Tico in order for you to give 2 experience to Rose Tico, making her a 4/8. And so, as Danny says here, she acts as almost a pseudo sentinel, and the reason that is because your opponent kind of wants to attack into Rose Tico to remove her shield so she doesn't become a 4/8 for 4 resources, which is just absolutely absurd, right? And again, because it's an on attack trigger, you could go ahead and attack with her. Let's say there's a K2SO on the enemy side of this battlefield, right? You attack in, let's say you have that shielded on Rose Tico, you defeat it, and then she's a 4/8 on attacks, right? It's not after attacks or when she completes an attack, it's on attack. And so she could kill off a K2SO and be left with a 4/4 body remaining, which is just crazy, right? Don't mind, also ECLing Rose Tico out, right? Because you immediately get the on attack trigger, right? There's just so many different options that you could do with Rose Tico. Keep in mind that her aspects are also in Luke's colors, which is the shield deck, right? As you could, let's say, play this Rose Tico for 4 resources on, let's say, turn 4, right? Let's say you ECL her out on turn 4. You go ahead and hit someone or hit something, defeat the shield, she becomes a 4/8. Maybe she takes a damage, she's like 4/5 or whatever. And then if we look at Luke here and we pull up the leader. Oh, I have a filter on for Shadows of the Galaxy. You're able to give a shield token with the extra resource back to Rose Tico. She becomes, let's say, a 4/5 or whatever, 4/4. That just killed a unit that also gets another shield, which is pretty crazy. Now, if you compare this to, like, I don't know, let's say a Kanan, right? Kanan would be a 4/5 that you're ECLing out, that you could do something similar, but this comes with 3 extra points of toughness, and you can get another shield token defeated on something else. Like, you could attack with her, ECL her out if you want, or just not, right? You could just attack with her in general and then defeat some of those shields that Luke's providing. Or you could just use her in a Mando blue style of deck, which is something pretty cool. If we pull up like Follower of the Way, for example, right? Your only condition for this card being pretty solid is that it's upgraded, right? And that means that shield tokens, experience tokens, these types of things work. So you could even play something like Follower of the Way. You can give it a shield token, defeat that shield token, give it +2/+2 experience tokens, right? And suddenly this is now, instead of a 1/3, becomes a 2/4 +2/+2 with experience tokens. It's a 4/6, which is pretty crazy, right? So there's a lot of different upgrade synergies with Rose Tico, and I do think this card is going to be really powerful. I'm curious if we're going to get any more shielded options. If we just look at the Shadows of the Galaxy pool right now, again, Mando Blue seems to be a home for her potentially. Now, you don't actually get the Mandalorian trigger from Rose Tico because it requires you to play an upgrade, but of course, if you're running an upgrade themed deck and you have cards that want upgrades on them or benefit from upgrades on them, then yeah, we're going to get some really, really powerful synergies from just getting a bunch of upgrades on the battlefield, such as if you look at like the Mandalorian, for example, you can give a bunch of shield tokens, heal someone up to a 2-cost or less unit, right? Oh, what's that? Follower of the Waste, a 2-cost unit. We can give it 2 shield tokens, and those are upgrades already. And then maybe play Rose Tico, defeat that, make a 4/6. Seeming pretty good. Seeming pretty good. So yeah, there's definitely a theme alongside, you know, blue specifically for the upgrade theme. We have like Razor Crest, we have Mandalorian, now we have Rose Tico, and of course the Mandalorian leader. But that's not all we got today. Well, that is probably the sweetest card, maybe the second sweetest card. The next one is the Sundari Peacekeeper. This one's a 3-resource command heroism ground unit, Mandalorian Trooper, 1/5 with Raid 2 and Restore 2. Now, this one's a pretty sweet one. By the way, I love seeing this art. I think it's really, really cool seeing the, you know, well, the Clone Wars, you know, Mandalorians kind of show themselves as that was always a sweet, sweet culture. But this one, the fact that it's a 1/5 is appealing to me. Normally, when you see raid units, they just kind of get killed and they can't really trade with your opponent's units, right? You think A-Wing, even like Cantina Bragger, attack even something like Fifth Brother. These units can really, really die very easily if they don't have high toughness. Now, Fifth Brother is a unit that can survive because of 4 toughness. And that means that Sundari Peacekeeper most of the time is going to be surviving, okay? Now, Raid 2 Restore 2 is extremely appealing, as that is a lot of value on a unit. It attacks for 3, and it also allows you to restore some HP, and you have a Mandalorian synergy with Bo-Katan, right? As you could go ahead and deal 1 damage to a unit, or on the backside, you could go ahead and deal 2 damage on attacks to a unit, which is really, really cool. So there are some Mandalorian synergies, and I do think that would fit, but we will see. I'm not like extremely impressed with this card. Again, any unit that has really low base power can be really, really taken advantage of, especially when you're hitting like the 3 or 4 resource range, as sometimes, you know, you will just get this killed, and that would be unfortunate. Like, think about, you know, you going turn 1, I don't know, some sort of like Sabine Wren, and they go some sort of like Battlefield Marine or whatever, they go Wing Leader and they just kill your Sundari Peacekeeper for essentially free. That type of situation would be pretty bad, but just something that I think it looks reasonable. The Restore 2 is probably the most exciting part about this card. Next up, we have Moisture Farmer. This one's obnoxious, I'll say that. It is a 1 resource 0/4 Restore 2. Now, this one is pretty straightforward, right? It is just a Vigilance ground unit that just sits on the battlefield and then just attacks in order for you to just get a lot of value by restoring some HP on your base. Now, one thing that's really important about this card is something like this is obnoxious with upgrades, right? 0/4 having a really, really high base toughness means that your units aren't going to, or this card in particular, aren't going to just immediately die. And there's not a super high likelihood that your opponent's going to be able to kill it on the turn that it gets deployed, right? On the turn that it gets played. And so you could probably get into your second turn, and then you could suit this up with something like, well, maybe, I don't know, Devotion, perhaps? And then suddenly you have a 0/4 that now has +1/+1 and Restore 4, so it's a 1/5 with Restore 4, something like that. I could see, you know, this working well with Mandalorian potentially, or just using it as some turn 1 play that allows you to get to the later stages of the game. And this is something that's really interesting, as well, it does prevent you from potentially taking initiative frequently, as you do have to get it in action by attacking. It is nice just to be able to Restore 2 every single turn. It is probably something that your opponents have to kill in order for them to not just get completely valued out of the game. And if you are playing a controlling deck, let's say you're playing, Vader Blue, for example, you deploy Moisture Farmer on turn one, you play Moisture Farmer turn one. Let's say instead of like a Death Star Stormtrooper or an Inferno 4, they play, let's say, a Sabine Wren, as per usual. Then you go, I don't know, Power of the Dark Side your units or kill your units, attack with Moisture Farmer. You could probably keep the board relatively clear so that this survives for a couple turns. And this ends up being maybe like a Restore 4, Restore 6, Restore 8. And heck, I'm even playing Repair in my deck for Vader Blue right now because I think it's actually worth it against those aggressive matchups. So pretty interesting card. But here is the last one that I want to talk about, and arguably the most exciting one of all. Okay. Top Target. One resource, Vigilance upgrade. Attached unit gains bounty. Heal 4 damage from a unit or base. If this unit is unique, heal 6 damage instead. As I mentioned earlier, I am already playing Repair. If you play a Sabine Wren on turn one, and I go, I don't know, take initiative or whatever, and then turn two, I go Top Target, or maybe I even play Top Target turn one on your Sabine Wren. And then turn two, I kill it after you've pinged me with Sabine, after you've attacked with Sabine. I heal 6. I heal 6. Now, that might not be, well, full value at that stage of the game, but I could sit on Top Target. I don't need to play it on turn one. I can go turn two, maybe turn three, and I go turn three, Top Target, Power of the Dark Side, your only unit on the battlefield, or open fire your unit, right? Let's say they play, I don't know, a red 3, and on turn 3, I go Top Target, open fire, boom, heal 6. Boom, that's crazy. This is an absurd card, and I do think that this card is probably one of the strongest cards in this set that we've seen so far. Honestly, I think it goes like Echo, Wrecker, Top Target right now. Those are my top 3 picks for cards in this set. While I do think Rose Tico is sweet, and I do think this card's gonna be really powerful, I would also put it up there. I think Top Target is like a hidden gem. This is a very unassuming card, right? You look at cards like Repair and you're like, yeah, is that card really that good? No, it's not really that good. It's just that these cards in the right deck make it so that the other cards that are really good can actually function. These are glue pieces, and Top Target is the perfect glue piece for your deck. Again, giving you a heal 6 is absurd because the condition that you have to kill your opponent's unit is not really a condition at all in the deck that you're wanting to play Top Target in. Again, if I'm playing Repair in my Vader Blue deck, Top Target is almost strictly, for a lot of the portions of the game or parts of the game, a strict upgrade. Of course, you need a unit to defeat in order for Top Target to be good, right? And you need to be able to defeat that unit. So there are situations when Top Target isn't going to be good. That is true, and Repair might be better. But even if it's not heal 6 and it's just a regular unit, it's not a unique unit, it's a heal 4, so it's already better than Repair still. And you're going to be able to claim that bounty almost always. And if you can't, well, you could always just resource it, right? There's no like pressure for you to be able to play this card or keep it in your hand. You can always resource it. And another thing to note is that it's a blue card, and blue cards are a little bit, or vigilance card, blue cards, vigilance, whatever you want to call them, are a little bit of a premium, especially with things like Lieutenant Childson out on the battlefield, right? So Top Target, definitely my pick of at least this group of 4 to be the strongest card. I think this card's going to be really, really powerful. Again, Repair was a little bit unassuming for me. I was not convinced about it. I started running it a little bit, and, again, just shoring up your matchups against the most popular decks in the meta. Things like Boba Green, although Boba Green's not really that great against Vader Blue. It is really just a one-sided matchup for the most part. But like Sabine Green, your Leia Reds, any aggro deck, really, Repair comes in handy. And I think Top Target is going to be one of those cards that's going to be really powerful. Same with Moisture Farmer. I think these cards, as they said in this article, we can now play more 1 and 2 cost units, right? These are really important. Things like Clone Deserter, things like Dr. Evazan. These are like really high power units that allow you to get ahead on the curve compared to what we had before. So we're going to need some more powerful, controlling and mid-ranging options, although we haven't seen, again, the whole set. you already see control being a really dominant force right now, as it's been winning a lot of the tournaments recently in the meta, and I do think it shapes up against like Boba Green, Sabine Green very well. And seeing something like Top Target makes me pretty excited, especially since like there might be some bounty synergies where, you know, not only are you getting the heal and you're getting a better repair for your control deck, but maybe you're claiming a bounty which triggers something else, right? Who knows? Maybe we have something sort of like Jabba, Jabba blue, you know, like yellow Jabba, cutting Jabba, and then we have blue vigilance plate alongside it, and then we are claiming bounties, we're getting benefits, things like that. Who knows what could happen in the future? But that's gonna wrap up the video for today, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed. I know that this has been a pretty sweet time looking at all the cards. I myself today, I have a store showdown to get to. I will be giving you probably an update on all of that when I finish with it. I am hoping to bring a Vader blue, but we're gonna see if I can pull together. I'm missing a couple of cards, as you know. You all know how Vader blue is. It's a little bit of a rare occurrence, but on my desk here, I got the deck ready. I got the deck ready here, as you can see. I have my event exclusive Vader. I got my Avengers somewhere around in here. I got my Vigilances. You know, we're ready to go. We're ready to go. All right. For the most part, I do have to pull together the Super Laser Blast. That's the one I'm missing. If I can't, I got Sabine Green waiting in the wings. So that's what I'm going to be bringing. But regardless, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll give you an update on how my store showdown goes, and I'll see you all for the next one.